Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson, this is Full Time Devils, and this is the Full Time Review. It's a show where you can get involved, give us your opinion, and we'll have a chat about what's happened in the weekend's game. United have gone and done another 4-0. Can you believe it? It's absolutely incredible to watch Manchester United scoring goals at will. After those of us that have sat through all of the 0-0s and draws last season, all those half-time 0-0s that we saw at home where we just couldn't score a goal under Louis van Gaal, it's nice and refreshing to see Manchester United turn up and swat teams away. Last season when Jose Mourinho came in, one of the first things that I said is I can't wait to see Manchester United steamroll these teams that we're meant to steamroll. Didn't happen last year. Maybe it just took a little bit longer than everybody expected, but now Manchester United are doing exactly what we thought Jose Mourinho could do, and that is turn up and steamroll the teams that we are meant to steamroll. Now, there's still some question marks. Undoubtedly some question marks. And there's a couple of people that we've got coming up in the fan cams and in United on YouTube later on, and even Jose Mourinho himself, where he talks about we've got to turn up against the big teams. We've got to turn up against these other opposition that are in the running for the title. Liverpool is the next game, and that, for me, is the perfect opportunity for us to go and do that, because the question marks are going to be there. What can we do against the big teams? Because, yes, towards the end of the season, we'd phoned the league in and we decided that we was concentrating on Europa League. So that sort of skewed up our position and our performances against those big teams, because we had to go to Arsenal, we had to go to Spurs, and we had to go to Manchester City away at the end of the season when we wasn't really asked about what we was going to do in the league. But earlier in the season, we went to Chelsea, we went to Liverpool, and we tried to park the bus a little bit, and we failed on both times, really. I mean, Anfield, we didn't really fail, but we did definitely park the bus. Chelsea, we absolutely failed. So what I want to see from Manchester United and from Jose Mourinho this season is that we go to these top 5 and top 6 teams and we turn up with the arrogance that we can go and take all 3 points. Because if we can, I believe we can do that. I believe that forward lineup that we have got is good enough. I believe that midfield that we have got is good enough. But what's come at the worst time in the world possible for me, anyway, is while Manchester United are on this unbelievable run of form, we now take basically 2 weeks out to go and play international football that nobody cares about. If you look at the fixture list for Manchester United for the back end, from the 14th to the end of October, there's about 300 games to fit in. For what? For 1 or 2 international games to be played in the first couple of weeks of the month. Why can we not have international football? If we have to have a mid-season break for a few weeks, where they can get a load of international games in with the sort of frequency that we see, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, for the league and the cup games that we've got at the moment, that would be better. Because it just takes the momentum out of it. Why is there so many fixtures for internationals early on in the season? Why can't we have like an international month? How good would that be? Where you can forget about whatever you need to do and maybe go and see the missus for a little bit for a month. It needs to be like it is in the summer, where there's like a festival of international football, because it interrupts the flow of Premier League football for me. It interrupts the flow of domestic football. Just as you're getting into the stride of a season, just as you're starting to put a load of wins together, just as you're starting to really build some momentum, boom, let's go and have international football. And most of United's players are English, international-wise. We've got the most nationality there than anything else. So they're going to go now and be inspired by who? Gareth Southgate. That's going to undo all of the work that Jose Mourinho is putting in on the training ground when they have to go and deal with that wet knobhead. International football bores the piss out of me. Does anybody watching this here really care about international football? At all? Does anyone really want to see Manchester United's season halted again so early, just as we're getting into the swing of things for international football? Does anybody? That's what you guys are saying in the comments. Ronak says the players seem tired against Palace. I disagree, mate. I think we absolutely just didn't get out of first gear. Surab says momentum breaker is the international break. We need to beat Liverpool. Their defence is shite, Charlie. Well, I've got some stats for that I'll give you a little bit later on. But yes, that is the truth. Liverpool are going to smoke United, says Gaher. Really? All right, mate. Someone here saying that this is not streamed live and we don't reply to comments. Whoops. In my opinion, do we... Oh, it's going a bit too fast. Let's try to get one a bit further down. I think we would if England were actually good. No, it's not about whether they're good or not, because England have been pretty good, actually, especially over like the mid to early 2000s. There was a very good side. But as a United fan, you just can't take to them when you've got 80,000 people at Wembley sitting in stand-up if you hate Man U, when you've got 7 English United players playing on the pitch. It's not about whether they're good or not. Like, I genuinely don't care whether they're good or not. I just don't feel a connection to them. Me and Makolo went to watch the England-Scotland game on Remembrance Day last year. and I felt like an outsider. I didn't feel like I belonged with the Scottish fans, definitely didn't feel like I belonged with the English fans. I just don't feel like that's my team. And I think a lot of United fans feel the same way. Can't wait for England to play semi-pro footballers with part-time jobs, woo, says Mizan. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Should there be 2 tiers of international football? Should there? Because England never failed to qualify, did it? We turn up against the likes of Slovenia and San Marino and Malta and teams like that, and we qualify with ease every single time. But then when we get to a national tournament, because we're not used to playing Spain and France and Italy and Portugal and teams that are actually genuinely good, we get slapped. So we've got this misconception that England's actually a very good international team when it's actually bang average, if not even, maybe not that good. So maybe it should be a 2-tier international system, which, okay, is maybe a little bit unfair for the likes of Malta who want to compete, but didn't like San Marino score their first ever goal in like 25 years, like a couple of months ago or something like that? How can you expect them to compete with look at the Belgium team, for starters, with Lukaku and Hazard and company and Fellaini in the middle. Like, how can anyone expect, how can England think that we can compete with little Belgium? It's about the size of Greater Manchester, isn't it, Belgium? It's an absolute joke. NF says, I care about the national team, but I hate the breaks in the season. Thuzo says, just man-mark Coutinho and win easily. I think they've got a couple more threats than just him, but yes, you're right. Elmer says, hopefully Lukaku gets arrested. I believe Lukaku's on his way to LA this morning to answer the charges over the party that him and Pogba had when he signed for United. Will Pogba be back against the Scousers? I haven't heard anything at all. Eunice says, agree with a 1-month international break. It'd be better, wouldn't it? Rather than just stopping it for these 2 games or whatever it is against nobodies. The mentality of England means they'll never win anything, says Charlie. I'm not sure it's just the mentality. I think it's the quality of players. And I think up until like under 21s, England are actually really good at all those age groups and they're winning things at will. But because no young players are getting into the first teams at their clubs, then you're really struggling to find out that next step. And the fact that Jordan Henderson is Liverpool and England captain tells you everything you need to know. The man's an awful footballer. Liverpool will be saved by the international break, but the inevitable will happen. United are just too strong across the park. 2-0 win, says it's King David. Agree with the 1-month international break, says Nick. Needs to put the boot in at Liverpool where they're down, says McLaren. 1-0 would be a disappointment. It's never a disappointment when you win at Anfield, ever. No matter the circumstances. 3 points from Anfield is a big 3 points, man. Zlatan back soon, says Jamie. Not sure, mate. Will Mourinho park the bus, says Karan. I actually hope not. I think that we're good enough to take the game to them. And I think if you try and sit back against Liverpool, they're very good going forward. They score a lot of goals, but they concede a lot of goals. They've conceded a hell of a lot of goals. So I think you've got to push and press their weakness, which is their defence, and score some goals. It could be an epic game. Anfield doesn't worry me. I'd play Marshall and Rashford together with Lukaku up top. Mickey or Mata behind. I don't think he's going to play that many forwards, to be honest. I think it might be 4-3-3. England's youth team is all I'm looking forward to, says Prawn Star. England have decent players, they just can't play together. Do they? When you line up that England squad against Germany, right? Who's winning that? Germany all day. When you line it up against France, it's embarrassing. That France D team, like Anthony Marshall's not even been called up. Can you imagine Marshall was English? He'd be the best player. Belgium, Italy, Spain, Portugal. Like, who's England's like national comparative? Sweden? Norway? Who's our equal? Luxembourg maybe? I don't know. We're not one of the big 5 or 6 teams in Europe. That's an absolute fact. Liverpool is pretty shit at the back, says Red Devil. No shit, Captain Obvious. The England national team is lacking quality midfield. There's no chance of getting to the late stages without it. Liverpool teams lacks balance. Bring on Liverpool because we've got Lukaku. Looking forward to Lukaku turning it up against those. We have a really good attack. I hope we can force their attackers back to defend. Any timeline for Pogba? Not heard. The last we heard was that he was talking about getting potential surgery, or would he just need like ongoing rehab and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think the fact that he's not had surgery yet means that he's probably not going to have it. Do I think Klopp should be sacked? I don't think any manager should be sacked the way how quickly they're getting sacked. But I think it's hilarious that he's got a worse record, certainly got a worse record than Moyes had at United. He's got a worse record than Brendan Rodgers had at Liverpool, and he's got a worse record than Rafa Benitez had at Liverpool. So how are they still making excuses for him? It's laughable. Just because the guy jumps around on the sideline a lot, that is literally the only reason that they're not saying get rid of him, because he's made some sort of connection with the fans. But as a manager, he's worse than Moyes, and he's worse than Benitez, and he's worse than Rodgers. But because he runs around a lot, press like him, the fans like him. Ridiculous. Germany and City only conceded 2 this season so far. We've only conceded against one guy, Chapo Monting, El Chapo. Ibra destroyed England, don't forget. All Scousers must be treated equally, so 4-0 win against Liverpool as well, fair play. Kane could get into a lot of top-tier national teams, probably. Unfortunately, he's English, so he's not going to play at that level. Lukaku should take penalties. Maybe. Doesn't matter, does it? Right. We have got the gaffer coming right up, so let's see what Jose Mourinho had to say in his press conference after another 4-0 win.
And we all managers, we are all different. Sometimes we like players others don't like. Sometimes we don't like players others like. Some players, they perform better with some of us than with others. And I have examples of players that they didn't perform well with me, and then they performed well with other managers. Marwan is just the fact that I think he has important qualities, and I try to use these qualities depending of the situation, depending on the team needs. He played with me as a defense midfield player. He played with me as a second striker. He played with me like today in one of the double midfield players, adapted to the needs of the team. He's a team player. He's a great character. We have a good relation, and things are going really well between us. I think only a strong character would resist to the difficulties here, because he had some difficult times where people didn't recognize his qualities, where probably other managers they didn't like so much the qualities that he has. So he had to be a strong character. He's a fighter. He's a guy with lots of pride, and I'm really pleased that I helped him to reach this level and to change the perception that the fans have now. I'm really happy for him. It's just 4 matches at home. I know that in the same 4 matches last season we did 8 points, not 12. So in relation to the same matches, we have 4 more points at home than last season. We are playing well. I don't say well for 90 minutes, because sometimes we have periods where we lose a little bit our consistency in what I call quality with high intensity. But that's difficult to do that. That's difficult to do that for 90 minutes. That's difficult to do that after a Champions League game. So I'm happy that we start really strong, respecting the opponent, knowing that the opponent lives a difficult moment, but going strong for not giving them chance to be stable in the game. So I'm really happy with the points. I need good players, I need good people, I need some people with maturity, I need some people with a big concept of team. I know that the new generations, they are more the individuals, because this is the way the entourage and society makes them. So to have people like Mata, Herrera, Valencia, Matic, to have people like them, and I'm just giving a few examples, I could give more, is very important. It's very important, because managers, we don't have an easy life now.
So that was what the gaffer had to say. He's got a few points that I want to talk about on there as well. So he says, Fellaini's qualities work for me. Now, I think that's a really good thing. He spoke a little bit about some managers having players that don't work for them, and some players are poor under one manager but good under another manager, and I think he's got an excellent point on that one. And he says, Fellaini's qualities work for me. He's had some difficult times and he's got a strong character, and I think that's evident because a lot of players would have bolted, wouldn't they, when they had the opportunity to, and I know for a fact Fellaini had the opportunity to go back in January. He stayed, he fought for his place, he played an integral part in the Europa League win, and now he's finding himself as an integral part of Jose Mourinho's squad. I still wouldn't like to see him play every single week, but I think there's definitely a way to utilise him. And as long as he's played as the number 8 going forward and not the number 6 going backwards, I think there's an excellent player there. Remember the nightmare of Fellaini that we had that cost us the title in 2012 when he was unplayable in that 4-4 game at Old Trafford. That's the sort of Fellaini that you need. The Fellaini that hovers around the D, causing absolute chaos in the opposition box. And he also says we're playing well, but we're not playing for 90 minutes. So he thinks there's a concentration issue with Manchester United there. And I don't know where you can pick that up from with Crystal Palace at weekend, because the Crystal Palace game, they literally offered nothing. They was really, really, really poor. There was a couple of individual errors defensively where the odd player got turned, but it was so far away from our box that we was never really in threat with them at all. He's right, though, that against the bigger teams, that's going to be something that comes into play, because often in these big games, it's settled by a goal one way or another, and that can be the difference between winning a game, drawing a game, or losing a game. And then what he ends on, I'm still not 100% sure what exactly it is that he's talking about. So you lot, let me know, what do you think Jose meant by that last statement, where he says, modern teams, more about the individual than the team. This means managers don't have an easy life. And he name checks Mata, Herrera, Valencia and Matic. What do you think he means by this? Now, I think if he's talking about that, we've got selfish individualistic players. I would say Lukaku, Pogba, Mkhitaryan, they're selfish individualistic players. But they're probably 3 of our better performers, 3 of our better players. And actually, Lukaku's not that selfish. He doesn't take penalties. He lets other people take his penalties. I've seen him passing goal-scoring opportunities more than once this season. You'd never see Ruud van Nistelrooy doing that. So what is he talking about there, do you think? Liverpool is the first big test of the season, says Sajith. Is there an injury update, says Anthony. No, not at the moment. Joe says, can't wait for the Manchester derby. What a fight that will be. I can't wait for the Manchester derby. It's taken on an extra significance. Let's talk about what Mourinho is saying. Ryan says Fellaini is a good plan B and a backup. I agree on that one. Football TV says Jose will beat every good team. That's a bit of a stretch, mate. We only lost to Tottenham and Arsenal late last season because of the players we played. We drew Liverpool and Man City, and we beat Chelsea with Herrera man mark, and we also beat Spurs at home. People forget about that one, this all-conquering Spurs side. Martial is straight up better than Rashford. Now, dribbling, finishing, composure, all superior. Rashford brings insane confidence, though. Adam, I think in terms of quality of what they're doing as an output when they're attacking, but you've got to remember, football isn't just purely about attacking. There's also a lot of defensive attributes. Could Martial have done the job that Rashford did against Chelsea last season, where he harried the defence, he put pressure on them, he pressed from the front, and he caused Cahill to try and send it long to Hazard, which, in conjunction with Herrera's man marking, meant that there was no outlet for that Chelsea side and ultimately led to us beating them. I don't think that Martial can offer us that at the moment. So different tools for different jobs, and I think that there's a time and a place for Rashford to play and a time and a place for Martial to play. And I would start with Rashford against Liverpool, and I would use those attributes that he's got to put pressure on that absolutely garbage defence of theirs. And then later on, you know what's going to happen? Rashford's going to chase them down all day long. We bring Martial on with 20 minutes to go, and he gets us the winner. So it's going to happen. Why is everyone saying we've only beat poor teams? These teams we took points off easy. There's no easy games in the Prem. People just won't admit, Jack, that United are back. Everton finished the place below us, Southampton the place below those, and we slapped both of those teams. Southampton made it a little bit difficult, but you know what? On the road to Southampton, I'm taking a win. 1-0, no doubt whatsoever. For Chester United will beat Drawpool, says Sathak. Hope he wasn't up all night writing that one. Every Man United player is sick except Lingard, says Football TV. It's a bit harsh. Do I think Fellaini is underrated, says Matt. See, this depends where you rate him. I don't know where you rate him. United need a team. Rude's Ghost says, he's saying you need a team to win, not 11 individual stars. Well, I don't think we've got 11 individual stars. And just before we went live, me and producer Chris was talking, and I was saying, do you remember some of the best United sides that we've seen over the years? 1994 double winning side and the 2008 Champions League double winning side. They was very hard-working team side. So you've got Tevez, you've got Rooney, you've got Owen Hargreaves, you've got Scholes, you've got Wes Brown, you've got and Rio and Vidic at the back. You've got a real hard-working team ethic, and then you've got Ronaldo with his entourage, with everything that goes on about Cristiano Ronaldo. But he's producing, so it's happy days. When you've got a team that does it and one individual, it's happy days. Now that 94 side, everyone hard-working. Mark Hughes, Paul Ince, Brian Robson, Irwin, Pallister and Bruce, Paul Parker. A very, very hard-working, workman-like side. Eric Cantona adding the sparkle and the magic into that side. So I think you can have workman-like sides, providing that you've got a little bit of magic, because I don't think you can have just hard-working sides and expect stuff to happen. But I definitely don't think you can just have flair sides and expect things to happen. We've seen tons of times that you've got all flair sides that just can't grind out a victory. I think United have got the balance right at the moment. What do you guys reckon? Have we got the balance? How have we got the balance? Lingard is class, says Adil. Lukaku needs to be more hungry. Against small teams we get away with it, but against big ones we might not. Is this lad not on 11 goals in 10 games? I mean, talk about entitled. What more do you want from a striker? We've not had a striker start like this, I don't know, ever. What do you want from a striker? Seriously, you tell me what exactly you want from a striker. All right, he didn't score against Leicester. All right, drop him, never play him again. Jesus Christ. Ryan Murphy expects a 4-3-3 against Liverpool. Herrera man marking Coutinho. We're on the same wavelength, my mate. That's exactly what I'm thinking for this one. We are nowhere near Champions League winning level. I would agree on that one. I don't think anybody's sitting here thinking that that's the case. I think we're going to get quite far because I think we've got a tactician in Mourinho that's going to elevate us beyond what the sum of our parts does. But I don't think we can win it. Compare this team to our CR7 Rooney Tevez Champions League winning team. Yeah, we're not there yet. The defence is nowhere near that level yet, obviously. But, you know, we're not doing bad, are we, at the moment? Liverpool aren't a big team. This United haven't played anyone. It's going to follow us till November. Yeah, I mean, we have Spurs and Liverpool this month. So if we come out of both of those games with victories, who can doubt our title credentials then? I ask you. Who? Who can doubt them then? You can't. That's the answer. Was that everything that I wanted to say on those? Yes, it was everything that I wanted to say on the selfish players. So let's see what you guys are saying. So Bobby Charlton is at England training. Sir Bobby Charlton could get a game in this England team. How about that? He only needs 1 goal to take over Rooney, doesn't he? No, he needs 3 goals to take over Rooney at international level. He could do it. He could do it against San Marino, couldn't he? Have you seen him playing five-a-side football? Or Sunday League football even, for that old Lion advert? I reckon he could still ping one in from 30 yard, no danger. 11 goals in 10 games he's scored in the last few minutes when a team's already dead. He's not clinical or ruthless enough. Is this why you're called a chicken nugget? He's scoring goals. As long as they happen inside the 90 minutes, what does it matter? Honestly, some of you people. Do I think Lindelof is good enough? He hasn't looked fantastic. I think defensively there's some question marks. He's very good on the ball though. We'll see what happens. Lukaku needs to be more clinical. Lukaku's like twice as clinical as Zlatan was last season, right? How about that? If he got more clinical, it'd be more clinical than he's ever been in his career, and he's been a very clinical striker. So it's exactly what we thought we was going to get with him here. Right, should we see what some fans had to say from outside Old Trafford? We spoke to a lot of new people, so let's have a look at them. Let's see the fan counts from this weekend.
If you want to put a bet on at Old Trafford, 4-0 is the way forward, isn't it?
First and foremost, I just want to apologise on behalf of MUFC and Anthony Martial for that nutmeg on that Crystal Palace defender.
Was it really ever in doubt? Maybe, like when Martial missed that chance, I thought, it's going to be 3-0. And I have to leave it 3-0, gutted. But no, it's fantastic.
We didn't get out of second gear, to be honest with you, but I'm happy with that. Another 4-0.
Get in there, we're on you. Come on, we're going to get you. 4, 5, 6, you're next. Go, boom, 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 boom.
That's 14 goals at home in the league, 21 in all if you count the other 2 competitions. We're knocking them in for fun, and I can't wait for Liverpool.
Fellaini, come on. What is he on? Fellaini.
Not seen him play as well as that for ever.
We drew these kind of games last season.
That's very, very true. There's a huge improvement on last season, but the thing is now, I love that dance by the way. There's a huge improvement, but the thing is that if we beat Liverpool at Anfield, we're title contenders, hands down.
Do you know what was key to it was that early goal, scoring inside the first 5 minutes, because I think we said it all pre-match, didn't we? Like, if they sit back and make it difficult for us, if they could get to half-time, then a bit of a last push from half-time, they could have easily 0-0'd us. But do you know what? It's going to be a bad team that loses to them. It's going to be a bad team that concedes to them, let alone loses to them. They're shocking.
This season is totally different from what it was last season. We're a miles better side, and we will kill off them teams. Let's go to Liverpool, and we'll get the 3 points. Come on, United!
That's what you want at United, and you can remember under Fergie, like the last season, the one where we won the league, we didn't even have performances like this at times.
Thank you to everybody who spoke to us this weekend outside Old Trafford. If you're ever at a game at Old Trafford or away, then come and find us. We're pretty easy to spot usually. And come and have your say with us. You can also check those out after you've watched this video on YouTube. So Zara mentioned that we are title contenders if we beat Liverpool. I don't think anyone's disagreeing with that at all. Especially going to Anfield and getting a result there is huge, isn't it? And then Abdul says, the performance from us this season are better than the 2013 title win. And do you know what? He's absolutely bang on. The margin that we're winning games by is huge. Do you know how many 2-1s, 3-2s and 4-3s there was? And especially coming from behind as well in that 2013 season. We got it done and it was exciting. But actually, I mean, the defining moments of that season for me was the comeback away at Villa Park. It was coming from behind constantly. I think we even come from behind against QPR in that season. So I think that this United team looks stronger. This United team looks more ruthless. This United team looks like it's got that killer instinct about them. They've certainly got a lot of the hallmarks of champions. And yes, the only thing that opposition fans can say to us at the moment is, oh, you haven't played anybody. Well, hang on. Why are they talking about that with us and not talking about that with City? Why are they talking about that when Everton drew at the Etihad with them and we absolutely slapped them, put 4 past them at Old Trafford? Why are they not comparing that result with City's result? Both of us have had a great start. Chelsea have had some tough games so far, and they've rattled a little bit with some of theirs, but they're going to be in the mix. But I definitely think the title's coming back to Manchester. Manchester derby this season is going to be absolutely huge, isn't it? I think December and April is when they are. So by the time that we meet at Old Trafford in December, we should really have an idea about who's going to be challenging for the title. Right, let's see what you guys are saying. Lukaku needs to be more selfish. He has the ability, but so many times in the box he passes to Rashford. I think if he takes the shot, he'll be on like 14 goals in 10 games, says Red Devil. I think that's a good shout, to be honest, mate. Tony Menta says, Lingard is one of the selfish players we have. He should be sold and we need to play more like a team. Lingard is one of the most unselfish players. He's constantly making runs for others, constantly trying to bring others into the game. I have no idea what you're watching there, mate. We have to attack down Liverpool's right-hand side because they only have Joe Gomez and Alexander-Arnold. I think you can come right through the middle of them, to be honest. I think so. I think we can just completely get after them. City have beat Chelsea and Liverpool. Yeah, well, like we said, there's only a couple of teams that have conceded more than Liverpool so far. Steve loves mentioning that City drew 1-1 against Everton. Well, didn't they? I mean that is the only blemish on their copybook so far this season. Like Stokes are the only one, but people seem to forget about that. I'm just there to remind everybody. Don't think City have the steel to grind out results like United have. They was excellent against Chelsea, to be fair to them at weekend. They did look very good. I fancied Chelsea to win that one. I think once Morata went off, they couldn't really use Hazard as a false 9. But it was a good result from them. That was a 1-0 grinding out, to be honest. They had so many shots against Chelsea that it probably could have been a bit more. Jones might be due for an injury. He's probably going to get it on England duty, innit? Let's face it. City's points are worth more than ours. No, they're worth 3 points for a win and 1 point for a draw. Last time I checked, they're not worth anything more. Simple as that. It doesn't matter if you beat a top team and then lose to a lower team, as United have found out recently. You get 3 points for beating a top team and you get 3 points for beating bottom of the league who've not scored a goal. So they're worth exactly the same, my friend. Lingard might not be selfish, but he is crap. I think that's a bit unfair, my mate. Pogba, shock return against Liverpool. Would you want him to come back straight into that, or would you not want him to have a bit of a warm-up game first? That would be tough, I think. This is the best going since the Fergie era. Early signs of title winning maybe, says Baby Yaga. I think we can put pressure on. Not in the Spurs sense where we was never going to win it, but I definitely think that we can challenge for the title this year. It remains to be seen whether we can get over the line, but the signs are there, aren't they? We've got goal scorers, we've got the best goalkeeper in the world. The defence is looking solid somehow. So let's find out how it goes down. Pereira should have stayed with us and fought for his spot. Well, hindsight's 20/20, isn't it? Treat Liverpool like a small team, attack and attack them, don't let them settle, says Rockstar. The thing is, they can definitely hurt us. So I don't expect to see the fullbacks bombing on past the halfway line. I really don't. I think he's probably going to look to counter-attack them using Mickey and Lukaku. Wouldn't be shocked to see us line up 3-5-2. I would go 4-3-3, but I think he might go 3-5-2 in this one. Do I think Pogba will play against Liverpool? I don't think so. Imagine in the Champions League knockout stages, last 20 minutes bringing on Pogba and Ibrahimovic. Why would Pogba not be starting? Don't know what you're getting at there. Anyway, right, let's see what the lads in United on YouTube have got to say. If you want to get involved in United on YouTube, I'll tell you how to do that after we've seen what the lads have to say.
Hey, Full-Time Devils, how you guys doing? It's me again, Tony Omowade.
You can only beat who's in front of you, and Manchester United are swatting teams aside at the moment, scoring 4 goals so often this season.
Fellaini scoring his first ever brace as a Manchester United player. Mata scoring his 200th appearance for Manchester United.
Oh, another 4-0 win. I'm so excited. 4-0. That's like 5-6 games we've scored at least four goals. I'm so excited. Like all those 0-0, 1-1 draws from last year, even from Van Gaal days, those depressing 0-0, 1-1 draws. It just feels good to be scoring 4 goals. You know, even 2 goals, 3 goals, I'm happy.
And it's nice to see Fellaini stepping up to the mark, Rashford stepping up to the mark as well, while Mata getting his first goal of the season, and even when Lukaku's not having a great game, still getting himself on the score sheet. That's 7 in his first 7.
Now 11 goals in 10 games in all competitions for Manchester United. Absolutely fantastic returns he has given. We're still up there, we're pushing really hell. Crystal Palace did give us a few things to think about as well, especially late in the first half and second half as well.
It wasn't our best performance, but it was, again, good game. Crystal Palace weren't that good. They struggled a lot. But you know, they've been struggling all season. But, you know, it was still a good game. I was happy.
Hopefully we can continue this run going into some more difficult games with Liverpool up next on the horizon.
I was, you know, Rashford. Oh, Rashford is such a... I love that guy so much. Like, that turn. You know, when Phil Neville said he was as good as Mbappe, I didn't believe it, but that turn was amazing.
But Phil Jones and especially Chris Smalling tightened things up quite well, and I'm very happy to see the way that our defence has improved compared to last season as well.
Ashley Young is good going forward. That cross to Fellaini for that, I think, second goal was beautiful. But like defensively, no, please, we can't start Ashley Young against the likes of Liverpool with like Salah, you know, or Man City with Sterling.
So after the international break, we have the Scousers. Come on, let's take them on. Let's get 3 more points and let's extend the gap that we have with the rest of the table.
Great season so far. We have a international break coming up, so I'm always scared about that. But it was a great season. I'm happy. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I'll see you guys later. Take care of yourselves.
And slowly but surely, we'll get ourselves at the ultimate top of the table. Come on, United, let's go.
There we go. Thank you to everybody who joined us for United on YouTube. If you've got a United YouTube channel, you want to talk about United and you want to appear in this video, then hit the description below, find the email address, it's fulltimedevils@gmail.com, and send us some videos. Go and give all them guys a subscribe, especially new guy Tony, who I think's absolutely fantastic. Go check him out. So the things that he said then, Tony was talking about Marshall taking his turn. Rashford taking his turn. And Rashford is playing with some bravery and freedom that we just don't see. Is that what you get from young players before, you know, like we were saying before, England duty sort of bogs them down and takes away all that sort of freedom and bravery from them? I hope not. Tony also talked about Ashley Young and his crossing. And I've been looking at the data, and obviously I've been looking at my timeline for any time that Ashley Young throws a crossing and you lot just dive on me. For Young's crossing, it's been 12 to 14% for his entire career at United, which is about half of what the average is, where the average is about 20% for a cross. That's what you want to sort of see. Young has been between 12 and 14%. This season, Ashley Young's crossing is 4 times better than normal. It's up around 55%, which is it's crazy. It's really good level of crossing from Ashley Young this season. There's not enough data for it to say that it's going to last. But Tony also mentions that defensively, yeah, not the best. And there was about 3 or 4 instances where Ashley Young got turned, or there was a real schoolboy mistake from Ashley Young that led to Palace being able to get a little bit down that side. Luckily, it was nice and far away from the goal, so it didn't matter. But for that reason alone, I wouldn't want to be playing him against the likes of Liverpool. And on his crossing, people say, oh, he's clearly the best crosser at the club this season. He's not even the best crosser at the club this season. Blin's ahead of him and Mata's ahead of him. He's third, which is good. But let's not get carried away. A lot of people get carried away. A lot of the time, the truth is right down the middle, isn't it? It's not over here, it's not over here. So Ashley Young's crossing this season, it's best it's ever been. And his ability to find Fellaini at the back post is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if that's Fellaini gambling, because that's where a lot of Ashley Young's crosses go. And that's why they're so low percentage, is because a lot of the time he sends them to the back post and we haven't got anyone at the back post. Has Fellaini twigged onto that and just started going to the back post? Don't know. It works. So happy days. What else did he say? Yeah, and consistently finding Fellaini. Absolutely mega. So Simon also mentions that he's looking forward to Liverpool, and I think we all are. And only West Ham and Crystal Palace have conceded more goals than this Liverpool team. Think about that. Think about how bad Crystal Palace have been and how bad West Ham have been. Only them two have conceded more goals than what Liverpool have conceded. Now, everybody could see when he was buying all these attacking midfielders that wasn't the problem with this Liverpool team. This Liverpool team had no defence, arguably no out-and-out number 9, but definitely no defence. And they really needed to strengthen their defence if they was going to go and take on anything in the title. The fact they've got like this absolutely relegation candidate sort of defence means that United have to attack them. United have to go for them. There's no reason for us to sit back and be scared of this team. Yes, they can score goals, but do you know what? We've got an unbelievable goalkeeper in net. So let's let them have a couple of shots. But let's go and take advantage of the fact that their defence is like a grater. You can absolutely walk through it sometimes. And if Newcastle terrorised them a little bit yesterday, if Newcastle and Joselu can terrorise them, then I've got Lukaku going to go on an absolute tear against them. And how good would that be to see United turn up with the confidence to really put it on a team and actually put it on a so-called top 6 contender, and see Klopp absolutely lose his mind on the sidelines. Right, I'm going to see a couple more comments from you guys. It isn't like we have amazing defenders, says Red 5. We've got pretty decent defenders. The way Chelsea played against Man City, if we would have played like that, Jose would have been blasted for the media for playing dirty football. Agree? Of course. There's different standards applied for all the top managers, and Jose gets nailed the worst. Morley says, think it would be 3-5-2. I really think it'd be 3-5-2. Time for Shaw to make his return to prove himself against Liverpool. That's ballsy. 3-4-3 because Mickey Lukaku and either Rashford or Marshall will play, so it has to be 3-4-3 or 4-3-3. I don't think it'll be 3-4-3, but I definitely think it might be 4-3-3. Love from New Orleans. How are you doing, my mate? If we finish behind City, it would be second. Yes, you're probably right on that one. I can live with not winning the title this season, but not challenging for it might kill me. I think we're definitely going to challenge for it. Where's Baye? Don't know. He's not in here. Do I think the international break will play any part? It could, because there's potential for injuries, there's potential for players to go missing. There's potential for all sorts of chaos to happen over the international break. It's not the ideal preparation. Hopefully by the time the lads get back, Mourinho's got his plan worked out. He throws them at the plan, shows them exactly what they need to do to go turn up to Anfield and take the 3 points. And that will do it from me. We've got loads of stuff coming up this week to keep you occupied over the international break, so make sure you don't miss any of that one. Go give all them lads a follow that have been on United on YouTube, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks for tuning in.